Also, I want to add some commentary to what you guys just said about the yen pairs, because again, you guys have that very technical background, and I'll add just a little bit of my own in terms of fundamentals commentary for the audience who likes that. So in terms of the Japanese yen, my take on it is, I guess, twofold. To Marco's point about momentum, the Japanese yen pairs, you guys, I'm sure, have noticed this. When they move, they really move. Like, they can move hundreds of pips very, very quickly. And so if you get something where, you're looking at, like, we just discussed, like pound yen, if this thing breaks, it very quickly could rapidly decline, right on down to the next level, like 165.5, right? It could move very, very quickly. So yen pairs, they have that nature to them where they can flush very quickly. Due to its risk-off nature, the Japanese yen tends to sort of trade around a lot of fear, whereas if people get fearful about the markets, they flood into the Japanese yen very quickly. And so that is why we often see those big flushes on yen crosses. Now, I think to Marco's point, trading that momentum can be very lucrative. It can be very profitable to try and capture those quick flushes. And then to Miko's point about consolidation and waiting for some sign of strength, I think that's really important personally when trading the yen pairs, because of their nature to just sort of go and go and go. You might want to wait to see, some sign of strength before looking potentially at buys. Also, in terms of central bank status, I think when you take a look at the pound against the Japanese yen, I generally would lend bullish on the higher time frames, not necessarily in the lower time frames, but on the higher time frames, due to the fact that, okay, you have sort of a divergence in central banks. When we look at the UK, the pound, as we mentioned, has very high levels of inflation. This morning, they reported higher interest rates, and that was the 12th time they raised. Well, that shows, in essence, an attempt to get that inflation problem, double-digit inflation they've got going on in the UK. Well, the Japanese yen is the actual opposite right now. Not only are they not raising rates, they're actually even flirting with the idea of potentially even cutting if need be to keep the Japanese economy stimulated. So we see a strong divergence in central bank monetary policy. These are driving forces in the markets, especially when looking at the daily, looking at the 4-hour chart. It's a very important driving factor, and why we've seen so much strength for the pound yen. So just a little bit of confluence there. I think if you get some signs of strength like Miko's talking about, at some point there may be a buy, but to Marco's point, they can slippery slope all the way down very quickly in the shorter term and lower time frames. So good stuff there, guys. And remember, we just dropped their links in the chat. Make sure to go subscribe to them if you have not already. So maybe I'll ask you guys a little bit. I'll be a little bit selfish. I'm trading gold right now. I'm long gold, mix of fundamentals and technicals. Marko, what do you think? Gold, you may or may not trade it, but do you have any insights for us on what's going on with gold?
Well, the strategy I trade doesn't work on gold for some reason. So let me just open the charts. Basically, I don't pay any attention to it. I have tried trading it, but it's not for me. So for me, it's very choppy. And what I'm looking for as a trend trader, I'm looking for sustained movement to the upside or to the downside. And currently on the 1 hour, which I only trade the 1 hour, this is very choppy as well. So I'm seeing like a push up, then consolidation, push down, consolidation. So just no direction as of yet. On the larger scale, also I can't really see anything as for my strategy. I see this consolidation and then we just push up out of it and then we drop down. So yeah, for me as a trend trader, I would wait for possibly something like this.
8cap and A1 Trading are teaming up to give out free copies of the EdgeFinder. 8cap is an incredible, award-winning regulated broker looking to give traders the best experience possible. You can trade all of your favorite things like gold, forex pairs, cryptos, indices, and more. 8cap is our favorite choice when it comes to brokers, so go try them out if you're looking for a better broker. The only thing better than trading with 8cap is using the EdgeFinder to find better trading entries while trading with 8cap, of course. So to get your free copy of the EdgeFinder, all you have to do is create a trading account with 8cap and deposit $1,000 or more. Again, just deposit $1,000 or more into your personal trading account with 8cap, message us when you're finished, and we'll get you set up with your free EdgeFinder access. Happy trading, everyone.
To then get in. So this up move or this one, that is what I would wait for, and current price action is not telling me anything. It's just being a bit stagnant, I would say. And I also look at, to be honest, only the last 5 or 6 days of price action. So this is the only thing that matters to me. So for gold, that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Sure. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. This is part of the reason why we liked the idea of setting up this show more to be collaborative in nature, bring people together, is because, you know, as an audience, put yourself in the shoes of the audience. People are going to have differing opinions. They're going to focus on certain things. They're going to have questions about certain things. By bringing more than just one voice, that's kind of our goal, is to take on different markets with different views. So to your point, if you're trading like the 1 hour chart, gold has been really choppy. It's been really back and forth. We saw a big spike. Last week it was erased when Jerome Powell came on, and then sort of has climbed back. So it's been all over the place. And something, of course, sort of has to happen to really cause a big trend. What about you, Miko? Do you have any ideas or analysis on gold right now?
Yes. Well, I do have an opportunity I am looking at, but I'm a little bit hesitant with gold. It's just a little bit choppy these days, and I don't like the fact that it came in respect to this resistance here. I think that was on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, so yesterday. So had a nasty reaction at that resistance there. So although the way I trade, I look at the kind of the major swings of structure. So the market is still printing higher highs and higher lows, but the fact that we're starting to respect resistance here is a slight red flag. It does mean that, okay, we are still maybe bullish, but we're taking a pause and could maybe look to turn around potentially. So I'm looking at some buys for gold, but a little bit further down, closer to the 2K mark. So back into this level resistance, which we tested, I think last week on Friday. So yeah, we tested last week on Friday. So I'm looking to see if gold can come back to this area, and then I'll look to see if we can get a bit of a pop to the upside. But I won't be looking to hold that trade for long, because like I said, gold's showing a lot of signs of exhaustion. We're not creating any new highs anymore. I still do think gold's going to create those new all-time highs. Very, very close, around 2075, 2070, something like that. So I do still think we're going to go pierce through those, but it might be a case where we take a bigger dive first and then we go break them, or maybe gold just bees gold and then just flies to the upside for some reason. So yeah, I still am long-term bullish for this one, but nothing quite there for me just yet.
Fair enough. And if I'm being boastful for a second, I actually was able to catch that pullback that you mentioned right around. I caught her at 2005 an ounce, I think, or 2006 an ounce, somewhere right in there. It was awesome. I wished, to your point, when it came back up again, I was like, oh, come on, do it. Break that high, right? And it just did not. Unfortunately, I trailed out of fortunately, I trailed out of it during sort of all the volatility yesterday. Decided to re-enter towards the end of the day. Again, just sort of anticipating a potential break to new highs. It's partially technicals, but it's also fundamentals as well for me. With gold, there's just quite a few things stacked up that are sort of concerning about markets right now that sort of seem to be on the back burner. In the United States, we have the debt ceiling situation, which of course could cause some fears if the US stops paying debt briefly. Even it could be a concern for markets and could have some upside for gold. You also have the banking situation. Right before you guys got on, Frank was mentioning another developing situation. Yet again, we have this PacWest Bank, which is another one that's been closely watched by the markets. It's another one of these regional small banks that's been under a lot of pressure. It's down 23% here pre-market. We're going to open up here in the United States. The stock market opens up in about 10 minutes. So just another developing story. As we've seen several of these banks collapse, it's been a little concerning for markets. And of course, that will have impact on all of our trades, whether it's dollar, gold, stocks, indices, doesn't matter. If that fear surfaces, it will throw some of these things into potentially some bigger trends, which again, if you're purely technical, you'll still see some of the result of that anyway. So kind of cool stuff there. Speaking of indices, I'm a big fan of trading the indexes, trading the S&P, the NASDAQ. S&P taking a bit of a beat here today. Marko, any thoughts on indices? You may or may not trade them. I'm still going to ask you guys, just put you on the spot. What do you think on the S&P right now?
So right now for the S&P, well, for me, it's kind of flat. So, and I don't trade it. I only trade Forex pairs. So what's the ticker that you used?
SPX 500.
SPX 500. So for me, again, kind of flat, as I'm only looking at the last couple of days of price. For me, I would have been looking, for example, for a buy right here in this momentum. But right now, very flat, so I'm being patient. I would be patient if I was trading it live. Prior price, again, very choppy, so I do not believe my strategy would have worked, as the moves are very rapid, the drops are very rapid, and then we kind of slowly push up, then we drop. What I'm looking for is more slower candles and more sustained price. So this up move would have been good, this one as well. But yeah, right now, kind of flat, so not for me as a trend trader on the 1 hour chart. And I have a question for you guys. So I know I trade only 6 Forex pairs, so I don't have a watch list per se, but how do you assemble your watch list at the beginning of the trading day? So do you go through all of the Forex indices gold, or how do you do it?
Miko, you take it first. I'll answer second.
Okay. Every weekend, firstly, I trade all FX major and minor pairs, and I dabble in gold and silver as well. But my bread and butter is major and minor pairs. So there's roughly around like 26, 27 pairs that I do look at. So every weekend, I will go through my analysis primarily in the weekly, daily, and 4 hour time frame, and I'll forecast the week ahead. So it takes me about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to do that. Normally do that on a Saturday, and then for the week I'll pick whichever has the best characteristics. So in terms of structure, seeing good momentum, good levels. So I just pick 5 to 8, which are looking the best, and then sometimes during the week I kind of take some out and slip some in if the structure is not kind of playing as I would expect it to do. But yeah, on the weekends, basically where I create my watch list, and I normally ruffle it down to around 5 to 8 pairs. But yeah, I'm basically looking at momentum, key levels, and basically just wish for the best opportunities for the week ahead.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Miko. And I think for me, it's a little bit different just because of the nature of my style of trading being more sort of focused on the fundamentals primarily. I'm often looking for like story trades. So like I trade a very wide range of things. I can trade currency pairs, gold, indices. I can even trade bonds. And the reason for that is because the fundamental story, as much as, oftentimes people say, well, I trade this or I trade that, they're all sort of impacted by the same fundamental stories, just in unique ways to a degree. So if you know generally how, an inflation report may impact gold, or it may impact a currency pair that you're watching, that's for me. I don't take so much time to create a purposeful watch list as much as I pay attention to fundamental trends and stories, and I trade what seems to have the most clear picture to me. So like, for example, right now, I just mentioned a little bit of like with gold, I'm watching that story that's been playing out with regional banks, and I'm paying attention to, of course, also, things like the COT reports that we paid attention to earlier. I use my software that our company builds to generate a watch list to some degree for me. It combines some fundamentals with some sentiment. I'm also looking at like extremes. Like if I'm looking at like retail sentiment, this is another one I really like to pay attention to, because like I could tell you right now, just by looking at this, I may not always trade dollar CAD, but if I'm trading dollar CAD, a lot of people are buying the dollar CAD right now. So if we know that the retail crowd is like very long dollar CAD, I would be more interested on this pair specifically at potentially looking short. So, and that's just generally following or going against retail sentiment, which tends to be on the losing side of trade. So it kind of varies. It's very much what's showing up on our software tool, which combines sentiment as well as economic numbers to find trends that are not just purely technical, but also fundamentals.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EdgeFinder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.